Do you care about what people say and think about you? How important is your reputation to you? And how do you want to be perceived by others? Dear fellow citizens of the world, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Nick. I'm a career coach and communication trainer. And today we are talking about reputation, seemingly something that not many people care about, but let's see why it's so important. So as human beings, what do we want truly? We want to be recognized for our value and our achievements. We want to be trusted, and we want to accomplish those things by staying true to our word, because our word is what makes us look reliable to others. This question of reputation came to mind when I was reading the book Influence by Robert Cialdini. And for those of you who are not familiar with this book, it's a classic about understanding human psychology and essentially why we make the decisions that we make influenced by others. In the book, Cialdini talks about the concept of consistency. And consistency works like this. We are assigned labels in life, either because we assign those labels to ourselves or because other people assign them to us. So for example, imagine you are always on time. You are known in your group of friends or at work for being always on time. Now imagine one day, people around you, your friends, want to meet for dinner. And they tell you, hey, we know you're always on time and you're the most responsible one in the bunch. So this restaurant actually accepts reservation, but we need somebody to be there on time to make sure we don't miss the table. So maybe that would be a better idea if you were the first going there. Now, what just happened here? You probably got ripped off. Why? Because your friends, people around you know you for being on time. Now, they're going to use this label to make sure you stay consistent with your behavior. You cannot say suddenly, no, I don't want to wait for you guys at the table, so I'm not going to be there, so just go ahead. Because if you do this, you are breaking the consistency of the label you've been assigned, or you are assigned to yourself. So obviously you can see that those labels, this consistency, can be positive and negative. Some people might use this consistency to kind of trick you, but some others might use this consistency to kind of value you and praise you. Now, this is the magic of this book. So why reputation matters in your life, and especially in your career? Your reputation gives you credibility amongst thousands of people out there, especially online these days. And some people might misrepresent themselves, and you don't want to be one of them. You want to be known for who you truly are and what you truly can give. Because imagine you are an expert in your field, you are recognized by your professional achievements, you get promotion, raises, but people talk behind you. And what they say about you is, wow, this person is always late. This person is kind of flaky, never really can be trusted. He backstabs people. How can you live a full-fledged, fulfilling career if your reputation is not up to par? So you need, again, that consistency to make sure your achievements are in alignment with your reputation. Because if you're able to do that, people will trust you. And again, as human beings, we want to be trusted. Now, let's see 5 tips to help you build up and maintain your reputation. The first one for me that is the most obvious is take responsibility for everything that happens to you and that you do. It could be your success, it could be your failure. You need to take responsibility and be accountable for what happened during the process. So give credit to other people when they help you succeed. Take responsibility for the mistakes you made. You are just human. Again, we all make mistakes, so there's no shame about this, but you need to make sure that you can take responsibility for this. Because if you only take the positive, the success to you, and you push away the failures, the mistake you made, people are not going to trust you at all. Because they see somebody who enjoys the spotlight, who enjoys fame, success, recognition, but kind of step away and actually hides behind failures and mistakes, and somehow even pushes other people towards taking responsibility for their own mistakes. So take responsibility is the first tip. Now, the second tip to create a good reputation is look at yourself. Literally, look at pictures of yourself, look at recordings of yourself, look at yourself in the mirror and see if you like what you see. Not judging yourself on the physical appearances, but is it the image you're trying to convey to other people? If you feel like you want to be seen as somebody who is in charge of their health, in control of their destiny, confident, and you're doing the opposites. You don't like the way you dress for interviews. You feel like it's too laid back. It's too unprofessional. The way you communicate with others doesn't look as smooth as you wish it could be. You don't look very considerate to others. It looks like you care more about yourself. Then there's a discrepancy between what you believe you're showing and what people are actually seeing coming from you. So make sure you are in alignment with who you want to be and how you want to be perceived by others. Now, third tip to build a great reputation: help other people and don't expect anything in return. If you decide to help somebody, it's because you truly care about making their life better, helping them succeed, helping them reach a new milestone in their life. You're not expecting anything in return. Otherwise, you start playing the game of, I give you something because in the future, I might need to ask you something as well. Now, don't get fooled though. You will meet a lot of people who will take advantage of this. Somehow you need to be able to disregard them. And my rule of thumb is I help people and I'm considerate for what they're going through. But if I see that they're taking advantage of my help, this goes by the rule of 3, which means that after 3 times me helping you and you never helping me if I ever need something but not really considering it, it's time for you to go. Because you will see people who try to take advantage and you don't want to be perceived again with your reputation as the fool who accept to be taken for a spin all the time. So it's great to help people, give the maximum out of yourself, but realize at some point who really cares about you, who truly deserves your help, and who truly needs your help, not people who are opportunistic and come whenever they need something. Now, the fourth tip to create a good reputation is do not overpromise and under-deliver. And this can happen a lot. I mean, we can do it in our daily life at work. We have a tendency to exaggerate things because we feel like we can do more than we're actually capable of doing. And therefore, we have a tendency to promise a lot. But when the time comes and you realize you don't have the resources, the time, energy, money, capability to achieve what you promised, suddenly you create a discrepancy again in expectations. If someone is expecting something from you and you go below that expectations, you're hurting your reputation. Why? Because you are not creating an inconsistent image of you. And we talked about consistency before. If you don't deliver on what you promised, people are going to start seeing a pattern of you over talking, over promising, and not really delivering on your words and your actions. So make sure that when you promise something, first of all, try not to promise too much, but if you ever have to promise something, make sure it looks decent for the other person, but most importantly for you to be able to achieve and complete that promise. And the fifth tip to build a great reputation is do not exaggerate your stories or your accomplishments. Do you know someone around you, or have you ever met somebody in your life that usually had a tendency to, I would say, embellish reality? Again, it kind of goes together with over-promising and under-delivering, but it's really specifically to people who have a habit of always stretching the truth. You know, telling you stories and it looks magnificent or really extraordinary when they're telling the story. But when you look at what actually happened, you realize that it was not that big of a deal, or it was not that serious or that funny or that dangerous. They also have a tendency to exaggerate their accomplishments. So again, be careful when you write your resume. Don't over exaggerate any accomplishments, and especially during job interviews, because the recruiter will spot you, okay? They will ask you questions to make sure, again, that you're consistent. Consistency is key to build your reputation. So you don't want to be considered as someone who is lying, who is fake, who is almost a bit of a mythomaniac. You want to make sure that what you say is what actually happened. Of course, there was always an angle to make it sound like great. This is what storytelling is all about. But you want to make sure that story is still real. It doesn't become a fairy tale. So don't exaggerate your stories and your accomplishments. So what did we learn today? Consistency is key. Consistency is what makes you true to your word. It's what creates your reputation. And you want to make sure that whatever you do in life, when people look back in time, they can see the pattern. They can see why you always do what you do. If you start breaking away from this path, people will start asking questions, and therefore your reputation will take a hit. Now, your technical expertise will hold and perceived by others are super strong if your reputation follows suit. Again, you could be the best engineer, the best accountant, the best speaker in the world. But if people see that you're always taking advantage of other people, that you are a tendency not to show up on time, they will start questioning if your expertise is actually that good after all. And remember the 5 tips that I gave you today to create, build up, and maintain a good reputation. So think about an event, an episode, an anecdote that happened to you in the last few days, in the last few weeks, when you could not stay consistent with who you truly are. Was there a specific reason, internally induced or externally induced, that made you go off track? And what impact did it have on your reputation? Feel free to drop a comment below or send me a private message to share those insights with me. I would love to hear your stories. And if you enjoyed this video, please make sure you give it a like. And if you don't want to miss 2 new videos each week where we talk about career, mindset, and personal growth, make sure you subscribe to the channel right now. Thanks a lot for watching, and remember, experience, experiment, enjoy the journey. See you in the next video.